I want to personally honor two foremothers, Lucille Longview and Rosemary Matson, who played significant roles in the women and religion movement in the UUA and were my friends over many years. I met Lucille in 1985 at a district W&R retreat held at Rosemary Matson's home in Carmel Valley, California. We immediately hit it off. I had been active for a couple of years in District W&R prior to this meeting. She lived in Massachusetts, I in California. Over many years, we visited on both coasts, wrote and telephoned. Rosemary Matson was a member of our District W&R task force. She was also the first Continental Women and Religion Committee chair, serving from 1977 to 1980. This committee had been set up by the UU Board of Trustees following the adoption of the W&R resolution in 1977. It was independent of the district committees. At a GA plenary in 1997, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the W&R resolution, Rosemary Matson, Carolyn McDade, and Lucille Longview were honored by moderator Denny Davidoff on behalf of the UUA for their activism. In 1998, the UUWF presented the Ministry to Women Award to Lucille as initiator and Rosemary as implementer of the W&R resolution. Each felt they should be considered symbolic recipients, acknowledging the collaboration of the many women and men who had made the W&R resolution a reality. Here they are receiving the award from Arlene Johnson, then president of the UUWF. And celebrating this well-deserved award in full festive regalia. In 2000, at Lucille's daughter, Linda's home in Palo Alto, California, I met with Lucille and Rosemary to discuss women and religion. The lace tablecloth and flowers, selected by Linda, were meant to recall the suffragists of earlier times. Both Lucille's and Rosemary's personal papers and other works of the UU women's movement, which they had collected, are archived in the Schlesinger Library at Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard. It is the world's largest and most significant repository of documents covering women's lives and activities. Lucille collected what she considered her best speeches and essays into Lucille's Red Notebook. I annotated these pieces and mounted them on their own website, which anyone can access. She was especially insightful and entertaining in her presentations. The United Nations Global Women's Movement influenced Lucille and Rosemary. Lucille attended the first UN Conference on Women in Mexico City in 1975 as the representative for the International Association for Religious Freedom. That is where she began to develop the W&R resolution for the UUA. Lucille also attended the Second UN World Conference on Women in 1980 in Copenhagen, where the practices of grassroots organizing were everywhere. Rosemary attended also. Here they are carrying a banner, Feminists for Peace, Sisters Organizing for Survival. Women's history, going back to the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls, New York in 1848, also influenced her. Here Lucille is reviewing the Declaration of Sentiments that is posted on a marble wall in Seneca Falls. In 1998, a plaque was placed in Lucille's honor at the Women's Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls. Lucille was 99 years old when she died in 2010. Rosemary Matson dedicated a room in her home to her passion for women's rights. She called it the Women's Room. For her and many others, feminism aims at a radical transformation of society, of politics, and of culture. She was still engaged in activism when she was 94 years old. In one of her handwritten notes, she asks, "How do we get across to people that the feminist perspective is one that acknowledges the whole of life and the sacredness of all life's creatures, human, animals, and plants, on an equal basis? What's so scary about that?" Rosemary was awarded an honorary doctorate in 2011 by Starr King's School for the Ministry. They acknowledged her contributions to both feminism and also to the broader focus of her social justice advocacy. Here I am with Rosemary in 2012. At 94 years old, Rosemary was still focused on women and religion. Over several years, my husband Bob and I spent countless hours with her at her home in Carmel Valley, California, reviewing her files, preparing archival materials for submission to Schlesinger Library, and discussing her storehouse of memories. I wrote, designed, and produced 2 booklets reviewing the highlights of her rich life adventure, which are posted on the W&R website. They are fully illustrated with photos and memorabilia. The first was called Rosemary Matson, A Woman Without Fear, which was prepared and distributed when she received her doctorate. And the second, Book of Remembrances, was created to celebrate her life when she passed in 2014.